This is KHTS Co-News Director Louis Diaz, and I am here with Santa Cruz Congressman Mike Garcia. Mike, how you doing today?
Hey, good, Louis. How you doing? Thanks for having me.
Thanks for having you. Thanks for coming on with us. I appreciate it. So, Mike, you were recently here in Santa Cruz. To be more specific, that was last Monday, to commemorate the new opening of our new Santa Cruz Valley Sheriff Station over on Golden Valley Road. What did you think of that building?
Yeah, long overdue. Just an absolutely stunning building, modern, state-of-the-art facility for our local sheriff's deputies there, who have been. I think their old building was built before I was even born. So that the city has grown up quite a bit over the last, call it, 40 years, right? I think when they first opened the original sheriff station, there were only about 60,000 people living in Santa Clarita. Now we're over 250,000 people now. So the job and the scope has definitely changed, and this new beautiful building is going to service us for a long time. Centrally located right in the middle of Santa Clarita, and it's what our law enforcement deserve. And to be honest, as impressive as that building is, and all the technology that's in it, the most impressive thing are the law enforcement officers who are out there serving every day, especially our sheriffs in Santa Clarita. They do such a great job. Our city is ranked the 8th safest city in the United States, and that's a testimony to our people and our schools and our community, and especially to our law enforcement. So it's good that they finally get the station they deserve, and it's a beautiful place. And got to take a tour before the opening ceremony there and see the digs inside. That's really nice.
So, as a former resident of Santa Cruz and being that Santa Cruz is one of the areas that you represent in Congress, how does that make you feel as a congressional leader to know that Santa Cruz is the 8th safest mid-sized city in the country?
That's great. And I actually am a current. I live in Saugus with my wife and 2 kids, so it is still my hometown, and there's a reason we live there. It's got great schools, it's got great communities and great recreational areas right around us, but it's because it's so safe, and it's got the small town feel as it grows and gets bigger and creates jobs. We still keep that vibe, and that's why so many people love our beautiful, awesome town, Santa Clarita. So it's good to see the law enforcement get treated the way they should be, and nationwide this isn't the case. There's a lot of cities and states right now that are pushing to actually defund our police, and they've done that in spades. And it's great to see our beautiful little city actually investing in our law enforcement, giving them an upgrade with the facilities. And but they still need a lot of help. They don't make as much as they should be making. They don't have as many folks joining the forces as they need, and it's a tough time to be a cop. And so it's important for the community to come together like they did on Monday and show support, not only for the building itself, but also for the deputies there that are going to be in the building.
Well, thanks for sharing that, Mike. And if you're just joining us, this is Co-News Director Louis Diaz sitting here with Congressman Mike Garcia, who's going to be talking to us a little bit about what he has been advocating for the constituents of the areas he serves. So kind of on that theme of law enforcement, Mike, there's been a little bit of controversy lately about the possibility of placing a sexually violent predator into the Lancaster area. I know you've put out a statement condemning that decision. Can you tell me a little bit more about that and where that stands right now?
Looks like we actually lost Mike right now, Lou. Let's see if we can get him back. We lost him. Oh my. Meanwhile, we can keep talking. That was a good topic right there, Lou. He's calling back right in. So, un momento, just keep the ball rolling. How's your day been, Louis? Just keep talking about that.
Not too bad. Well, today in the Santa Cruz area, we have had a handful of incidents happening. There was a individual attacked by a machete, and there's been also some other news. So for all of you out there wanting to get the daily news and all news Santa Cruz, go over to our website, hometownstation.com, and follow us on our social media. But it sounds like we have Mike back. Mike, are you back with us?
Yeah. Hey, Louis, sorry about that. We dropped lock there on our phone call there. I think you were talking about this bad actor from Orange County here. The Orange County Superior Court just decided to place this guy. His name is Lottis Donald Roden out in the Antelope Valley, specifically in Lancaster. This guy's got a history of sexual violent crimes and atrocities against women and girls. It's like a 50-year track record of of absolutely amazing and disgusting behavior. So this Orange County Superior Court judge decided that he was safe to be released, but recommended that he be placed in Lancaster. So we just wanted to put a spotlight on this and make sure that members of our community, and this isn't just a problem for Lancaster. He's living in the backyard of not only the Antelope Valley, but the Santa Clarita Valley here shortly. And so citizens have the ability to testify and give their opinion on the matter. His placement hearing is November 5th. And so, the message is, look, if he's safe to be released, release him in your own county, not here in our backyard in the high desert. So we're encouraging folks to make their comments known. And the LA District Attorney Gascon, who's really not a great guy himself, he's actually been on the side of the offenders in many cases. He's actually pushing back on this as well. So that gives you an idea of just how bad this sexual predator is here. So we're asking folks to reach out to the Orange County Superior Court and the local DA to make sure that their voices are heard and before this rodent guy is actually set to be discharged into Los Angeles County.
So you had mentioned that if they feel that he's safe enough to be released from jail, that he should be kept within the Orange County area. Have you personally reached out to any of the congressional leaders in the Orange County area or any law enforcement down there themselves to share your comments with them? And if so, what were their responses to that?
We've been sharing our perspective with the Orange County Superior Court as well as the DA down there. I haven't talked to other members of Congress, but they would have the same concerns, obviously, for their constituents as well. Look, there's no good place to put these guys, and in this case, I'm not sure this guy should be released, period. So that's the fundamental problem we've got. But certainly don't want them in our backyard, certainly don't want them in Lancaster in LA County here. So we'll continue to apply the pressure as well.
Cool. Well, here's a bill that's probably close to you being a former pilot for the Navy. You have a bill that just passed called the Military Spouse Licensing Relief Act. It was passed a couple weeks ago. What is that all about, and why is that important to anyone in the Santa Clarita or anyone in your district that might be married to an active military personnel?
Yeah, and this is a national problem as well. It affects our district, but this is really a big lift for our nation's military and their family, and frankly, the communities in which these active members serve. What this is it allows the spouses of active duty military members to be allowed to cross-deck or transport their credentials for their business from one state to another. And I'll give you a few examples. If you're a nurse, if you're a doctor, a real estate agent, a beautician, something that requires any sort of licensing or credentials. If you're living in Tennessee and you get orders to California, for instance, it may take a couple of years and thousands of dollars to get recertified in the business that you may have been in for decades in some cases. You now have to go get recertified in California. And what happens is because of the moves and because of some of the bureaucracy and the challenges and costs, a lot of these spouses end up not even getting the licensing and they end up losing the second source of income for their family. And this has been just devastating military families for a long time. So this allows them to basically cross-deck that credential. If they were certified to be a real estate agent in Tennessee and they come to California, that allows them to be one in California. Same thing with nurses, teachers, anyone that we need. And this doesn't just benefit the military and their spouse, but also the communities, right? In a lot of our communities, we do need some of these the professionals in these services, whether it's a nurse, a doctor, lawyers, beauticians. These are people that can contribute to our communities if they're just allowed to practice their profession in California. So this opens that up, provides us more options, and will be a significant benefit to the active duty military members. And so it's passed the House. We're very proud of that. It's going to be going to the Senate now for a vote, and we're doing everything we can to try to get it through the Senate side. And hopefully they do the right thing, and it'll hopefully be included in the National Defense Authorization Act, or the NDAA, here in a few months.
Well, that's awesome. And when is the Senate expected to vote on that?
Well, we're expecting it in the next few weeks to several weeks. There's no real timeline with these government institutions. So Ideally, everything's buttoned up before the end of the year at a minimum, but it may be carrying over into December before we know for sure the fate of the bill. So stay tuned, and we'll obviously update you as it moves forward.
All right. Well, if you're just joining us, this is Co-News Director Louis Diaz. I'm here with Congressman Mike Garcia, who's been telling us a little bit about what he has been doing to advocate for the constituents over the last couple of weeks here. So another area of that you've been working in is you've recently joined a bipartisan group of lawmakers and asking the Department of Education to allow student loan forgiveness in California, specifically to help fix the ongoing doctor shortage. What's up with that right now?
Yeah, this is one of those things that not many people realize what's going on, but it is actually impacting the doctors. And most folks may realize now that we do have a significant shortage of doctors nationwide. It's become very difficult to practice medicine in our country with all of the litigation, the costs, and the insurance companies don't make our lives very easy either. So, but especially in California, it's a lot tougher to serve here, practice medicine here. So what this is meant to do is help mitigate that to some extent, to help promote people to go into the medicine field and actually practice here in California rather than going to other states. And what we were seeing was there was a public service loan forgiveness program that the Department of Education had, which said that, hey, if you go to medical school and incur all the costs and then you go work 10 years in the public sector, either for any form of level of government as a doctor or not-for-profit organization as a doctor, that some of those loans could be forgiven, or all of those loans in some cases could be forgiven. So that was meant to be an incentive program for people not only to serve in medicine, but also go work for not-for-profit organizations and help get relief on their medical bills. The problem was due to some nuances in that language, as well as California's own laws. California doesn't recognize that forgiveness program. So what we just did was send a letter to, this was a bipartisan letter, so both Dems and Republicans sent a letter to the Department of Education to hopefully get some relief on this regulation so that California doctors can actually qualify for this loan forgiveness program as well. So, again, just trying to make it as easy as we can for Californians, in this case, doctors and their patients, so that they have someone to go to. And California's got a lot of challenges right now, and this was one of those that we're trying to remove the barriers for. So again, we'll see if the Department of Education responds here shortly, but we get a sense that this is something that was something we can actually overcome and wasn't meant to be permanent. So we'll keep fighting that fight.
Okay, yeah. Well, that's great. And so this bipartisan thing legislation would only be for existing doctors. It wouldn't be for those training to become doctors in the future. It's just to help the current doctors that are working currently.
Actually, it's current and future. So this would apply to future generations of doctors. And in fact, there's estimates from the California Medical Association that this would incentivize an additional 10,000 physicians to practice over the next decade or so in our state. So this is paralleling HR 1133, which was an act that I co-sponsored back in June, which would also alleviate some of these technical glitches for the loan forgiveness program. So this is meant to not only affect current doctors and make their lives easier, but also incentivize people to go into the industry, but also to stay and practice in California rather than other states. So that's where we're headed with this one. And again, there's a lot of other problems that are affecting this, but this is one of those ones that will help bring more significant medical practitioners back to the state here.
Well, Mike, thank you so much for your insight and all that. We're coming up to the end of our time here with you today. What can the people of Santa Clarita and in the California 25th District expect to see from your office in the next couple weeks coming up here?
Well, thanks, Louis. Appreciate the time. We're continuing to try to get Americans and those visa holders, Afghan partners, out of Afghanistan. To date, my office has been successful in getting about 110 Americans and SIV and Afghan partners, visa holders, out of Afghanistan safely. A lot of those folks are now back in California as well. So very proud of my team and the efforts there. We're going to continue to do that and hopefully untangle as many of the errors that this White House has created in Afghanistan as best we can. And also fighting the massive spending bills. We're looking at about an $8 trillion spending package here this week. This is money that doesn't actually help get our economy going. It's going to lead to massive tax increases across the board. And right now, especially as Californians, we can't afford more taxes. We need to be investing in our businesses, getting people back to work, getting the supply chains fixed, and getting back to normal on the heels of COVID. We don't need higher taxes to do that. So that's what we're fighting here in D.C. over the next couple of weeks.
All right, Mike. Well, thank you again so much for joining us today. And for all our listeners out there who want to read more about what Mike Garcia is doing in Washington, you can visit us on our website at hometownstation.com and follow us on our social media at KHTS Radio.